Now, live from WKYC Cleveland, this is Channel 3 News. News that's more local.
We're still fighting, and we're still trying to deal with it.
He made 7 tackles to win the Super Bowl honor of MVP, but to one local family, he's no hero. They say he's a killer. Good evening, I'm Scott Newell.
And I'm Kristen Anderson. Ray Lewis, the Super Bowl's most valuable player, was arrested and charged last year for murdering an Akron man.
And while that charge was eventually dropped, the victim's family says the MVP is a most vicious person and has no right being out on the streets. Channel 3's Lydia Sparra has more.
Joyce Lawler reads her newspaper as she does every Sunday. Her television set is off and she could care less who won the Super Bowl. This all because of last year's big game.
That's a morning I'll never forget.
Her grandson, 24-year-old Richard Lawler, and his friend Jacinth Baker were murdered hours after the Super Bowl outside an Atlanta nightclub.
It's hard even living. I'm telling you, it really is.
Still, no one has been convicted of the murders. Baltimore Raven linebacker Ray Lewis and his friends were charged with the stabbing death. Lewis pled guilty to obstruction of justice. His buddies were acquitted.
We wondered why, if they let them 3 go, why nobody's trying to get who did do it then. So that makes us think you knew you had who did it.
Joyce says she knows who is responsible.
There was 2 witnesses said that Ray struck my grandson, but they won't let him answer no question. He won't answer any. So why is that? Everybody gets up there and talks for him. We want him to answer some questions.
Questions that will one day be asked by Richard's only child, India. She was born a month after her dad was killed.
That's hurting that, his child is there now. He'll never, get to hold her or nothing like that.
Richard spent most of his life here at this home on Hartford Street, but 2.5 years ago he moved away. And back then his grandmother thought the home felt empty. But now that he's truly gone, words cannot express how she really feels. In Akron, Lydia Sparra, Channel 3 News.
And Joyce Lawler tells us family members were protesting the game in Tampa.
They believe Lewis committed a crime that was not punished because he is an NFL player.
Tonight's game was a dream come true for Art Modell.
He finally has his ring, and Chuck Galletti is here with the highlights, which a lot of people were cringing here in the newsroom watching.
Might have been a dream come true there, a nightmare here probably. Art Modell was in Cleveland for 35 years, and while Browns fans did see a championship back in '64, they never saw a Super Bowl, and now the team formerly known as the Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, have given 75-year-old Art Modell his first Super Bowl championship. There's the MVP, Ray Lewis, always trying to keep a low profile right there early on. Touchdown early on, Dilfer to Brandon Stokely, 7-0, Ravens on top. Kim Herring from Solon had an interception. Collins here picked off by Dwayne Starks, 17-0. There would be 3 touchdowns scored in a span of 36 seconds. It would be Dixon running back the kickoff for New York, and then back came Baltimore. Jermaine Lewis runs the kickoff all the way back, and this one, all Baltimore, not even close. The final from Tampa, 34-7.
To the people in Baltimore City, to the people in Baltimore County, and to the state of Maryland, this belongs to you.
So nice to see him thank Cleveland.
Nothing to say about it. Well, you know what? I think he didn't mention Cleveland this time. He mentioned them last week, and not to stick up for Art in any way, but he really can't win one way or the other. If he mentions Cleveland, it's going to be bad, and if he doesn't mention, it's probably the smartest thing he could do.
I wonder how Colts fans feel right now.
Oh boy. Well, they got to be excited too. I mean, heck, a championship. Like we got the new Browns back, and if we get one someday,
let's keep our fingers crossed for that.
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
Well, back to the Super Bowl. It was a painful one for a lot of Browns fans to watch.
Still, Art Modell is smiling tonight, as a lot of football fans in Tampa are. That's where we find USA Today Mike Walter live. Any problems down there with the Browns fans, hey, Mike?
No, I'll tell you what, though, we've got a lot of celebrating with the Ravens officials out there at midfield still. Of course, this is a great night for them. Put together Sting, the boy bands, Aerosmith, Britney Spears, and the best defense in the NFL. It all added up to an incredible night of football and fanfare. 72,000 fans packed into Raymond James Stadium. They were treated to Sting and the Stealth. But not everyone watched it from inside. Some who couldn't get tickets watched on small TVs outside just to say that they were here.
Yeah, because I like football and I like being around the crowd.
They recognized the irony in being at the Super Bowl, but not really being at the Super Bowl.
Just that you're this close and can't get in just because they're charging too much for tickets out here.
While the Giants and Ravens did battle inside, Dave Belding, who came from Columbia, South Carolina, admitted defeat outside.
It's a war out here, you know, and it's hard to get tickets without paying a lot of money. It's not worth sacrificing, you know, a month's income just to get inside.
So they watched Trent Dilfer's touchdown strike to Brandon Stokely on TV.
Brandon Stokely inside the 10 to the end zone, touchdown!
Just like you did.
They just scored.
The only difference, they were so close they could taste it. Even so, these fans are willing to put their misfortune into perspective.
Still better than being in Nebraska.
Even so, they know they have one advantage over the people inside.
Yeah, and they don't get to watch the commercials, so we're one up on them, I guess.
That's true.
And that was the disadvantage for all of us. We didn't get to see the commercials. You guys at least got to see that. But boy, the Ravens really dominated this game, winning it going away by a score of 34-7, and thus taking away the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Reporting live from Raymond James Stadium, the site of Super Bowl 35. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. And the Aerosmith and Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, it really was spectacular.
That's what I heard. I missed it, but I take it from you.
Yeah, it was good. A lot of people enjoyed it.
All right. Well, a couple hurt while fixing a flat tire has gotten a huge legal judgment against an Akron company. A jury ordered Tradeco to pay $80 million to the Texas couple. Tradeco makes a product called Patch-A-Flat, which seals a tire while inflating it. The couple says the tire exploded when they were using the product. News today about another local business. LTV boss William Bricker says he was surprised by the company's recent bankruptcy filing. Bricker took over the steelmaker in November and filed for federal Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in December. It's the second time since 1986 the steel giant has sought protection from creditors. Bricker retained a firm that specializes in restructuring failing companies to help LTV survive.
Tonight, one person is still in the hospital after a bus carrying skiers from Ohio crashed in Pennsylvania. The bus slid off the road near the Pennsylvania Turnpike near Monroeville. The skiers were on their way from Steubenville to Seven Springs. Passengers say it was chaos.
It just happened so fast. We hit the guardrail, we hit it again, and we was over the side. I don't think people had really enough time to brace for it or even get scared.
30 people went to the hospital. One woman is in critical condition. A jury continues deliberating tomorrow in the second trial of Angela Garcia. She is accused of setting her home on fire and killing her two children. Prosecutors believe Garcia wanted to collect money from an insurance policy on her children. Garcia's first trial ended in a hung jury.
Coming up, the staggering loss of life after India's earthquake.
See why a Northeast Ohio teenager could be on her way to changing the world.
And pigs are putting on pounds with potato chips. Eileen.
And it's a cold winter night, but guess what? We're going to get a little bit of a break with these temperatures. I'll tell you when in the Channel 3 forecast coming up.
You're watching Channel 3 News.
And you're taking a look live right now downtown Cleveland, looking terrific, all lit up, and it's nice and clear outside.
A dramatic rise in the death toll after India's devastating earthquake.
More than 6,000 are confirmed dead, but some report as many as 30,000 killed. Still, all hope is not gone. Rescue workers are finding people alive. Today, a 40-year-old woman, only her arm visible under the rubble since the quake, walked away from the pile of concrete and steel. The U.S. is sending $5 million in emergency aid.
There were no survivors at this plane crash site in Colorado. Tonight, a full team of investigators were looking for answers. All 10 people on board died. 8 of them were connected to the Oklahoma State University basketball program.
Police in New Hampshire have a double murder mystery on their hands. 2 popular Dartmouth College professors were found dead in their home. Police will not say how they died or who may be responsible. The debate over school vouchers continues to heat up. At the same time, waiting lists are growing at many private schools. That's the case at St. Mark's on Cleveland's west side. This is the first day of National Catholic Schools Week, and St. Mark's School showed off its brand new computer lab at an open house. It's more than up-to-date facilities that has parents wanting to send their kids to schools like this.
Both. They're looking for the values and they're looking for the moral education that we are able to provide here. Quality, moral, wonderful, excellent education.
There are other things students like about St. Mark's.
I like phonics and math.
You don't have to worry about getting made fun of because everybody likes each other and you get along real well.
The Cleveland Catholic Diocese schools have some 50,000 students enrolled. That's not as many as Cleveland Public Schools, but still is one of the largest school systems in Ohio. Nationwide, minority enrollment in Catholic schools has grown to 25%, and 12% of Catholic school students are not themselves Catholic. Well, most teenage students are into music and hanging out with friends.
They are, but I met one who was named by Teen People magazine most likely to change the world. She is incredible, and you won't believe what she has created at such a young age.
Ann Lai is well beyond her years. At the ripe old age of 13, she started developing this high-tech sensor that could one day save the environment from acid rain.
If we don't start addressing this issue now, the acidic rain, because it's in the atmosphere, it will continue to erode the environment. It doesn't just stop if you stop emissions. So we need to start working on this now to try to reduce the problem.
The sensor Ann created detects sulfur dioxide, a pollutant that's not easy to measure or control.
A lot of companies or vehicles, when they emit such gases, they say it's all up in the air. You can't pinpoint who's emitting what and how much is being reduced.
But Ann's system can. She's been perfecting it for 3 years, and over that time, the invention has won numerous national and international awards. While Ann waits for her patent, companies in Germany and New York are already interested, and Ann's excited about what she can do to make a difference.
By inventing such sensors which are capable of monitoring sulfur dioxide, we can also better control the sulfur dioxide emissions and reducing acid rain.
Ann is just 16 years old. She's a senior at Hathaway Brown in Shaker Heights. In a few months, she will be heading to college, and get this, she has been accepted both at Harvard and Caltech, and she has not made a decision yet.
Oh, she's incredible. That's amazing.
16 years old, and she is such a wonderful person.
Really on top of things.
She is.
If you may have noticed, we are sort of looking a little bit different tonight in this particular building that we're in right now, a little different from what you saw last night on Channel 3 News. We are in our state-of-the-art facility here on Lakeside, but not exactly where we're going to be all the time, right?
No, and Eileen is outside right now because everything is not exactly finished just yet. We're putting on the final touches. Eileen, how's the weather looking out there?
Actually, it is a beautiful night. Granted, it is a little cool out here, but I think we've all been commenting on the skyline and how pretty it is behind me. And of course, we've got something to add to that skyline now with the new federal building going up, and I'm shocked at how far along they are. But as far as our night tonight, the weather is looking very good as far as a nice clear sky and very crisp air, but it is a bit chilly. Our high temperature today stayed in the 20s. That was probably about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Our low last night fell to 13. The averages are 32 and 17. So we didn't get much of a warm-up, but we did get to see some sunshine. At least it was a pretty looking day. And as far as other temperatures around the area, we're in the lower 20s over Cleveland. That's at Hopkins right now. Toledo 24. Still some 30s in southern Ohio. And we'll actually see these temperatures rise pretty quickly by tomorrow, but it's still going to be cool tonight and early tomorrow morning. Along the lakeshore, we're in the upper 20s, so it's going to stay probably in the lower 20s to upper teens overnight tonight. And the wind chills, of course, not much of a wind to talk about, and that's why it's such a pleasant night, because even though it's kind of crisp and cool out here, you don't feel that biting wind that we felt yesterday. It was very, very cool. So as far as what we can expect, well, take a look at what's coming our way. That big storm moving through the southern plains is starting to give us a few clouds. The leading edge of that is a mix of rain, snow, and sleet, and that's not what we want, but we might see some of that, especially in the western areas around Ashland and Richland counties. But for Cleveland, it looks like we'll be seeing rain showers by tomorrow afternoon, and that warm air is going to move up over us through Tuesday. So Channel 3 forecast for tonight, partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the lower 20s to upper teens. Tomorrow, few clouds early on, but rain showers by afternoon and high temperatures reaching the 40s, and we get rain in 40s for the next couple of days. Eventually, though, cooling off as we go back to the 30s, and then by the end of next week, it looks like we'll be back to not only 30s, but even some snow showers. And as you send the kids off tomorrow, despite the 40s for a high, it is going to be a cold morning. Cloudy tomorrow morning and cold with temperatures right around 20. Bottom line, that means bundle them up as they go to the bus stop. But it sure is a beautiful night, Scott and Kristen, and the difference is the lack of wind. It doesn't feel as cold as it seems.
That always makes the difference. I still can't believe 45 this time of year. That's great.
It'll be nice, but of course it's going to be rainy.
And we'll be in the Triple Doppler Storm Center coming up tomorrow.
We will be.
You'll have to take a look at that. Well, coming up, the anniversary of an event that changed the course of manned spaceflight.
Plus a lot of grousing over a high-stakes game of chicken. No doubt you'll remember this story. You'll probably even remember where you were when you first heard about it.
15 years ago today, the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded just 73 seconds into its launch. All 7 crew members, including school teacher Krista McAuliffe, were killed. At Cleveland's NASA Glenn Center today, visitors remember that historic flight.
It's one of the best kept secrets in the culinary world.
Or should we say it was? We're talking about the recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now a Kentucky couple thinks they found it and the company wants it back. Tommy and Cherry Settle say they found the handwritten note in a date book that used to belong to KFC founder Colonel Harlan Sanders. They contacted KFC because they were considering selling the date book. KFC has filed suit to get the paper back, and it's now locked in a courthouse safe.
It's no secret potato chips are fattening. In fact, an Ohio State University researcher has found that even pigs put on the pounds with potato chips. Studies show pigs can be fattened for the market faster if they eat potato chips. The research started in 1995 when students were asked to find a high-energy substitute that's cheaper than corn.
When you talk about comebacks, theirs is a whale of a tale.
Up next, great news for a mammal on the verge of extinction.
There's new hope tonight for a whale on the verge of extinction.
Marine scientists estimate there are only 300 right whales left in the world. But scientists say there have been 14 births in the last 2 months off the coast of Florida and Georgia. Researchers haven't seen that many in the last 3 years combined.
If you're itching to get the boat on Lake Erie, you could get a little taste of it this weekend at the IX Center's annual boat show. There were some impressive boats on display, floating price tags as high as $1.5 million. And Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, showed off his tricks too. Always there. I don't know how they ever got that squirrel to do that.
I have no idea. I was just going to ask you.
I'm not sure.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
And Chuck and Mike are coming up next.